Fiona Kamkwasa, a member of this group.
Digital Peter
Maureen Nashintu, Osemen.
Samson Toby,
Amatomo Fidi, a member.
Onyango Isaac,
Asia Beatrice.
All right, thank you so much. Our required discussion of today, we're required to have an overview of Kibuuka's food limited procurement challenges. Then after we go to analyze key discussion points on sourcing strategies, we do cost implications, we look at risk assessment. Then thereafter, we look at the strategic recommendations that we can propose for procurement framework. Then also, at the end of the discussion, they want us to look at through the final thoughts or the implications to the roadmap. What can the kibuukas do according to what we have observed in the case study they have given us? So I think without taking much time, we can directly go to the overview of Kibuuka Foods Limited procurement challenges, of which they highlighted in the case study. And in our case study, we looked at that Kibuukas, it's a high quality processing agricultural products company, where their key products, processed coffee, they also do dried fruits, they do organic honey. Those are their products they concentrate on when they are doing their export. Their target markets, they have showed us that they sell in European countries, they also sell in Middle East, they go to North America. Those are the target markets of Kibuuka's company. But they have highlighted some challenges, the challenges that are being faced by Kibuuka in his procurement processes. One of them was high import costs. Isaac, what do you think about the import costs?
So the costs associated with imports, we have the tariffs, the clearance charges. Yeah.
There's also insurance.
And insurance. Yeah, great.
To that.
Great.
Freight
Then,
costs.
yeah. Yes. So another challenge was about quality inconsistency. Sam, do you have anything on quality inconsistency with Kibuuka's challenges in procurement?
Quality.
Yeah, the quality inconsistency that may be the imports that he brings in from either Middle East, because we have seen that he imports the packaging materials from India and other countries, meaning that the quality that they bring in, it is not uniform. Sometimes they bring in something that is quality, then other times they bring in something that is of sub-quality. Then we also have regulatory barriers. Phoebe, do you have anything to say on regulatory barriers?
Yeah, under regulatory barriers, you find that some countries impose in high or strict regulations concerning their imports or exports. So it becomes hard for the interested business people to penetrate the market.
Yeah.
So when the tariffs are high, the interest rate scares away the investors who would have loved to invest in the country.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes the compliance issues, some who want to maybe try the business cannot penetrate the market.
Yes.
Very, very difficult.
Thank you so much. Then we also have supplier reliability, that maybe some suppliers they are not reliable. You agree on a time of maybe delivery, and at the end of the day they don't deliver because of certain instances that maybe they may explain later. Then we also have currency volatility, where you find that the currencies ever fluctuate. They are not on the same rate always, it changes. Then we also have international procurement challenges, of which they have highlighted trade regulations and compliance issues. That is another challenge to Kibuuka, where you find that maybe it's very hard for them to meet the standards for the international procurement. Then we also have supplier selection and quality assurance. That is another challenge. Then they have also given us another challenge, which has cost analysis and currency fluctuations. I think we have highlighted most of the problems, the challenges they face as a company. So what we can do right now is to go to, we have also risk management in international procurement. So that is another risk, it is another challenge to them. Where you find that the political instability in some suppliers' countries. Yeah, so that is also there. And also then logistics and supply chain inefficiencies, where you find that maybe there's interruptions in the movement of all the shipping process. There are some interruptions. Then we have
clearance procedure.
Yes.
The port of Mombasa.
Yeah. Yes. So we have also ethical and sustainable procurement challenges, where we have the environment, social, and all that is incorporated within that. Maybe the suppliers, the other side, are violating in one of these areas, and it becomes a challenge to the kibuukas.
Okay, furthermore,
Yeah.
When we go to the next question,
Yeah.
the next question was saying, give key discussion points on sourcing strategy,
Yes.
cost implications, and risk assessment.
Yeah.
And we can start with cost implications. When we talk about cost implications, we are talking about the effects of cost on what? On the procurement.
Yeah.
And what you can look at first, you can look at currency fluctuations. When you look at currency fluctuations, we are looking at how currency rates change over time. Now, for example, the dollar fluctuates most of the times, hence affecting the what? The trade.
Yeah.
Furthermore, you can expound on that and talk about how it can affect the what? The procurement or trade. They are talking about when there is a weaker currency, there will be more inflation within the country than countries that have what? Strong currencies. And when we talk about foreign investment, investors want to go to a country whereby the currency is what? Is stable,
Yeah.
because they will be sure of their what? Their returns on what? Investment. Then we can furthermore look at trade competition.
Yeah.
Countries with stable currencies, for example, the USA and the China, that's why their trade is thriving all the time, because of the what? A stable currency and stable currency. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Then
You have anything to add on that?
I think she can.
Yes, Maureen. We have another point on cost implications with total cost ownership.
The total cost ownership model.
Yeah.
Here we estimate. Here we look onto the cost that the importer has incurred. Here they include the shipping cost, insurance, the taxes incurred during the process.
Yeah. And
Okay.
also
Furthermore,
Anyone can add up on
Furthermore,
that.
to expound on the total cost of ownership, this model talks about you have to calculate all the costs that are involved in the what? In the procurement of the what? Or the item.
Yeah.
You can consider costs like the purchase cost, the insurance costs, the freight costs, the customs duty clearing costs. So for a person to go outside there and procure something, he has to get well versed with all these costs so that he can finally price the final product in consideration with all the costs that he has incurred within the whole process of what?
Yeah.
The international procurement.
Yeah. Without forgetting the warehousing, the keeping, how the expiry dates, and how long is he going to keep the stock, and when he should make sure that everything. Yes. Yeah. So then if we go to sourcing.
When you go to sourcing, we're looking at the different sourcing strategies that people can use, and we looked at various of them, but I took an overview on diversification versus consolidation, and we see that a diversified sourcing strategy here, kibuuka, could go ahead to look to source for suppliers from outside the globe,
Yeah.
not basing on the internal region, but looking for some other people to provide it with the raw material that it needs, other than consolidating on maybe a few suppliers in the globe.
Yeah.
But here we're looking at a wider spread of where they can source from. Yes, that is under the diversification part of it.
Yes.
And when you look at the other side of consolidating, when kibuuka consolidates, like it's only selecting a few of the suppliers to source it, meaning it is going to limit itself to only these few people, and yet maybe there are other benefits you could have enjoyed from sourcing from the outside globe, or the variety of the many customers, suppliers around. You could enjoy maybe the relative prices. Also try to compare the quality of the resources that is getting from different people. So when you put all this, when you consolidate all these different views, the benefits and the demerits of both sides, I think that diversification could be an alternative source that kibuuka can actually use to source.
Yeah.
Maybe another point. Who can raise another point?
Either what do you add
Another
about
source.
sourcing?
So the next sourcing strategy that kibuuka can adopt in this case,
Yeah.
we should also look at the regional sourcing strategy, which actually helps to dissect some of the factors involved in regional trade, or that could actually affect the procurement process in international procurement.
Yes.
So one of the factors that I recommend kibuuka to look at is the regional trade barriers. That includes the, for example, the US and the China and the EU have various trading barriers that they impose on some of these goods that are coming in and going out.
Yeah.
So looking at all those things, they have a significant impact on procurement, on the procurement of some of these materials from outside. So they need to look at the overall regional factors that could possibly expedite or disrupt their procurement. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Without forgetting on our point of local and international sourcing, that if we were to look at kibuuka's way of doing things, that if he can also think about local, still they have showed, but I think most of his procurements are done from the other side. For example, the materials he imports from other countries. But here we're seeing one of the strategies as a sourcing strategy, that if he can also think about the local versus international, what is he going to do if it's to strengthen the Ugandan supply chain for the certain inputs? Yes, he has to source locally. And if it's to source locally, what are the qualities that he's going to look up to? Maybe he's seeing that if he does international, the quality is more than, is good than the local, and maybe the cost also are the same. Either importing is cheaper, or else maybe doing locally it's okay. Then also through localization, you find that he's supporting farmers, the local farmers, which promotes sustainability in agricultural practices. Yeah, so if we can go to risk assessment.
But I wanted to add something
Yes.
on the strategies.
Yeah.
I was also looking at if we can be involved in what they call consortium
Yeah.
sourcing.
Yes.
When you join with the other suppliers, you find that the cost implications will be what shared together.
Yeah.
You will find that the cost will be what reduced.
Yes. So if we can maybe give us some highlights on risk assessment.
Risk
Okay.
assessment
Yeah.
majorly it looks at looking at the threats
Yeah.
which will be involved in what in the kibuuka's what
procurement process.
procurement process.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we analyze and we get those risks,
Yeah.
we can easily do what they call the risk identification. Then we analyze those risks.
Yeah.
Then we prioritize them.
Yes.
And find the possible solution.
Then we mitigate them.
Yes.
Risk monitoring. Then now we find out the possible solutions to them. And some examples of the risks may include the financial risks,
Yeah.
operational risks, strategic risks, and the compliance risks,
Yeah.
and the reputation risks.
Yeah.
So we can easily mitigate those risks by diversification, hedging, risk sharing,
Yes.
contingency funding,
Yeah.
training, and the awareness.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that's so great. So the part of another question was asking us to,
Maybe if I may also add in on risk assessment.
yeah.
Yes, one of the things is maybe the supply would interrupt in a supply chain. So there is need for kibuukas to also improve
Yeah.
on that to avoid supply chain risks. So because when we have this, we can either lose revenue, we can always increased costs or reduce delays. So to avoid that, we need to also mitigate on the risks, just like what my colleague has said.
Yes. So colleagues.
Okay, when we go to the next part,
Yeah.
the next part was asking about strategic recommendations and propose a procurement roadmap.
Yeah.
Some of the recommendations that we can advise kibuuka to uphold, we can talk about ethical and sustainable what? Procurement.
Procurement,
When
yeah.
we talk about sustainable procurement, we are talking about purchasing something that can benefit the society right now, but in consideration what? For the future.
Yes.
Then ethical procurement, we are talking about procuring something that is in line with all the morals, rules of the what? Of the procurement. Another point we can talk about risk management. You can adopt risk management strategies. When we talk about risk management strategies, you can have a challenge of non-compliance with insurance regulations.
Yeah.
So you can adopt a risk management strategy of complying with the what? With the insurance companies through adhering to what? To the insurance regulations.
Okay, maybe another point is supplier diversification. There is need for kibuukas to diversify on the suppliers, like increase on the local base instead of only just looking at the international guys like those in China, like they study state seed. There is need for them to diversify on their economy in the country.
Then strengthening supplier selection and quality assurance, you will need to undertake the multi-supplier evaluation criteria model
Yeah.
in order to be able to assess which suppliers are reliable. Are you able to do business with without excuses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
also
that
to
you
add
can
on
have a
that.
continuous.
Also to submit on another point, we can also consider hedging
Yeah.
as one of the recommendations. That when we hedging it's a financing strategy which is used to protect against any price violation.
Yeah.
For example, if there is a fluctuation in price, if there is an agreement, you make an agreement with a contractor, with the export and the import companies. So you find that when we make an agreement on maybe the prices, that will be the price we shall consider, no matter if there is a high an inflation rate or there is a decrease. We shall consider that we agreed upon in the contract.
Yes, and considering the last part, they told us to get the final thought and implementation roadmap.
Yes.
What I've analyzed, kibuuka needs to get a well risk management strategy so that he can try to mitigate some of the challenges that he has been facing. Some of the recommendations that I can, or the implementation that I can advise him is to cover up the insurance of the company.
Yeah.
his company, because insurance will cover all the risks that he has insured the company of.
Then also providing training to the procurement staff, to customs compliance programs like that.
Yeah. Then develop and implement an SGA, that is environment, social and governance procurement policy.
Then diversification of the supplier base.
Yeah.
They should look on